today's video has 3 points, and you are definitely going to want to stick around because the third point is a secret, a huge one. It's a mistake that most authors make when they're using Publisher Rocket, something they're doing that's not completely right that is costing you money. And that is the reason why in today's video we are discussing Publisher Rocket is great for Amazon ads, but you are doing it wrong, and you are. Well, maybe you are. We'll have to stick around to find out. By the end of this video, you're going to know how Publisher Rocket can unleash sales for your books. You're going to have the steps necessary to optimize your use of this tool to maximize the sales that are coming in, or at least the people who are going to even be seeing your sales page on your book in order to click and buy. And you're going to feel great that you are no longer leaving money on the table when it comes to your self-published books. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. The thing is, after running all these ads all of these years myself, we've gotten up to, I think, 120 million times people have seen the ads, and Publisher Rocket is a key tool that I use. I've come to understand there's a pattern and a flow to doing these things, and checklists is one of the ways that I do it in terms of figuring out how to get the 200 books plus that I've gotten onto Amazon. How exactly to do it? It's using a checklist. And if you check below in the description, you can grab a copy of my absolutely free checklist and see if you can also unleash the exact secrets that I have already found. And maybe you'll find a better way to do it, but I'll tell you, after 200 times, you begin to have made all of the mistakes and you figure it out. So just check out the checklist and let me know if you find something different that you do with your process for self-publishing and getting your book selling. So the thing is that Linda, she was one of my very first group coaching clients that I ever dealt with. We were going back and forth, and we were dealing with her specific books. She was getting no sales at all, and I told her, like I tell all of my group coaching clients, we need to immediately get ads going to your books. It's one of the absolute most important things that we can do. There are three things. One, we optimize our title and subtitle in order that when people search for terms, it's going to show up for our book. 2, we're going to run paid ads against our book with a minimal budget. And 3, we're going to do content marketing. That's where they usually go through the content marketing course and learn exactly the step-by-step ways of getting that going so that we are driving traffic in all 3 ways of this: the keywords, the ads, and our organic traffic, and then sharing that onto social medias with social media marketing and our email list. This circle creates this flow of traffic towards one thing, which is going to be your book sales page, the page where it shows your book, and you're just going to click where people can click the buy now button. But we need to get people there. If you think that if you publish it, they will come, they are definitely not coming. And that was the thing that Linda discovered. And the thing is that she had even purchased Publisher Rocket, which is what we're discussing today. And after making the purchase of Publisher Rocket, she discovered there was a lot of functionality in this thing, and it gets very confusing very quickly. Now, don't get me wrong, this tool is a fantastic tool. It's just it does so many things that it makes it so difficult to figure out how exactly you're going to use it, and she started getting a little demotivated. So, what did we do? Here's a couple of things, and this is why we're discussing Publisher Rocket, why it is so great for Amazon ads, and specifically what you're doing wrong. So the first thing is, it gives you the ability to look at keywords for categories, titles, and ads, and it is fantastic in all of these 3 areas. Now here comes my gold nugget number 1. It is that you don't have to think that just because it's good for you're going under the Amazon ads keyword area in Publisher Rocket, that means it's only for the ads. Because those keywords also give you things to plug right back into the title, your subtitle, the 7 keywords that you're choosing. And so the point being is that each of these areas will give you ideas and keywords to check in the other areas. So when we find a list, it gives us a huge list. If you're doing puppy training, you type that in. We just type that right on into the Publisher Rocket, and it will give us a huge list. We pull them all through and we take a look at that. Then we take that list and plug it back into the other areas. We look to see if we find the categories that would match that. We look to see if we'd find the exact keywords for our book titles that would be great. We also look at our competition to see which keywords they're using. And Publisher Rocket gives us the ability to use it as a tool to generate all of these different keywords, which is so unbelievably powerful. And keeping in mind that one area of Publisher Rocket can be used in the other one. And by the way, if you've been watching my videos, we also hit KD Spy, and we're going to be using these same keywords and checking in KD Spy to see exactly which ones are the most profitable keywords. Those are the ones we're going to be using in our titles and subtitles. And so you might be thinking, just because you're in one area of Publisher Rocket, that, oh, those are the Amazon area, then you can't use those keywords for the other. Now, there is one exception, and this can get you in big trouble. It's that if you're using names of authors and famous books in your title and subtitle, that will get you in trouble. So you do not do that, even though for ads, that is completely acceptable and actually a great practice. So if you have a book that's just like, I don't know, one of Stephen King's books, you can actually use Stephen King as a keyword you're using in your ads. So when his books come up, lo and behold, in fact, you can even type in his ISBN numbers. That is the code for each of the specific books that Stephen King has. You can have them in there so that when somebody looks up those books, guess whose book shows up? Your book shows up. And I hope if you've taken anything away from the videos that I show and the lessons that I've taught, you're going to look to make sure that your books don't look particularly all that different from his books. Those two books come up together, and the reader says, wow, I didn't know Stephen King came up with a new book. And then they click on your book. Now remember, do not copy his name. Some people have tried this, like your author's name happens to be Stephen King. Big trouble, big warning flag, don't do it. Your title is not his title. No copying, direct copying of titles. And your cover is not identical. So you might look at the cover of It, which has like a clown or a claw or something along those lines on the cover, but that is not something you're going to want to have an exact copy of. But that doesn't mean you can't have a villain as a clown, or you can't have a villain who's something similar to a clown with this dark cover and some claws or something like that. You see, completely acceptable to be similar, but not copy exactly. And so that is a very important point when we're looking at exactly how your covers and your titles and how you're using these keywords. But when it comes to your ads, it's anything goes. You can have any of the keywords you want. So when their covers, their books come up, guess whose books come up? Your books do. That's whose books come up, okay? And this is something that is so difficult for so many authors to understand. You're just sitting there all day long typing away on your books, thinking that somebody's going to buy it if you just write the thing. It's such a good story. It's so useful. I have all of these years, 20 years of experience of puppy training. I just want to share that with the world. But guess what? That is a terrible idea, because once you actually do get that out there, it's going to fall flat if you're not optimizing things. And that is why Publisher Rocket is such a powerful tool with that. But here's the second thing. What we're dealing with also, this is the second point, second gold nugget of the day. Here it is. It is the fact that all of these keywords, what do I do with it? I even had somebody recently asked in the group coaching, what am I going to do with all these keywords? I have all of these keywords. What am I supposed to do? And the answer is, I'm so glad you asked. That's number one. And number two, it's that these keywords are going to be your title, your subtitle, the 7 keywords that you have for your book. They're also going to be in your description. They're going to show in your author's bio, all of these locations. And we're going to be scattering them around. We're going to be using them. And then what about the next book? And by the way, I hope your next book's in the same genre, subgenre, because if you're thinking of putting out another book that's a completely different book, that's just cutting away sales. You're no longer an expert in what you're doing. That's the reason why we think of Stephen King. If you think he can't write books very cleverly on different subjects, he can. But he knows he does a lot better by focusing on one niche. One subgenre is all he does. The type of horror books that he does, that's all he does. And so he's able to get his name associated with that, and then whenever his name comes up, people are like, oh yeah, the one who does the horror books, or the one who does the puppy training books, and all of your books are focused on that. Then we're taking all of these keywords, we're shooting them right on through to make sure that as we're using these keywords, each of our books is using a different set of keywords, and we're keeping track. We have this, what I call, this is an original from Self-Publishing Magazine Now, a keyword cloud that we're creating, this cloud of keywords that are all associated. We have the really important ones right towards the bullseye of the middle, and you want to make sure those are your first books. We're definitely going to do that. And then as we're moving outward, we're going to start using little bits and pieces of the outer keywords. But how are you supposed to find those? Are you just going to guess? I mean, I guess that's an option. Some people are like, when some of my clients will even ask, what's a keyword? And I have to point out that keyword isn't like a word. It's a keyword phrase. Multiple keywords that people are searching on. And why is it so important? It's because how are they going to find your book in the first place unless they're doing a search? And also if they're doing a search, that's going to trigger you to have your ads come forward, both the book itself and the ads. And we're doing the combination of both of them to make sure that on that page 1 results on Amazon, your books are showing up, and so it's super clear to what exactly is going on. And this is a mistake that so many authors make. You cannot even believe it. But let's get to our secret answer, the third gold nugget of the day. Our secret answer, it is the fact that Publisher Rocket, sometimes when you type in keywords, it'll say there's a low number of searches on certain keywords. And I'm telling you, there are so many authors out there who think because it has a low number of searches that you shouldn't even bother trying to use those keywords. Wrong answer. Now, your primary keywords should be the ones that have high search volume and low number of books on that. That's what we use KD Spy especially to do it. And Publisher Rocket and KD Spy sometimes disagree, so don't get over it. It doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you're using these tools together, because sometimes people are like, oh, but Publisher Rocket says I shouldn't do this one, and then KD Spy says I should do this keyword for my title. And the answer is we don't really care so much about that. We pay attention to the ratio that's generated on KD Spy. Keep it under 100. That's your core keyword. But what about all these low search volume keywords? We want to use them too. We're going to be using them as well inside of our books as we're moving along. And this is so important because so many authors, they have this idea that if one of these tools tells you this is not a profitable keyword or not that many searches, they just give up on it. And I'm telling you, it's still worth having those keywords in your cloud of keywords that we're going to be scattering. We're just peppering all of our different books. We're getting it out there. We're making it easy for people to find our books, easy for people to type the right things in that are going to trigger our ads to fire off. You've been in there. You come into Amazon, you'll see half the results on page 1 usually are ads. Why shouldn't your ad be there? And you're going to, by using Publisher Rocket, you're exactly going to be there. And you can find below in the description, in case you're not familiar with this tool, you can click on the link, my affiliate link for Publisher Rocket. I stand behind this tool. I do get a small commission with every sale that's made off of the link that I have below. However, it does cost you absolutely nothing. You still pay the same price regardless. It is my second most important tool, only to KD Spy, but very close. But Publisher Rocket, it gives us the fuel, the huge volume of keywords that we're then going to plug back into KD Spy. The combination of these tools going back and forth between each other, very, very powerful. And that is something that often people don't really consider when you're publishing, the importance of getting these things exactly right. Not a little bit right, but exactly correct when you're doing your self-publishing. Now, the final thing was, you heard me mention KD Spy, and that was the thing, one of the reasons why I want to tell you about KD Spy changes everything so much more than manual searching. And you can find out more right here, and I will see you over there. Thanks.